Is your zone, beyond being a very good defense, sort of perfectly suited to this moment in college basketball? I look at not a number of teams with these great lights out shooters that maybe they had years ago.
There's about 50 coaches in the country that people would say are better coaches than me, and none of them play zone. So it can't be something that people are so smart.
What's the difference between when it runs 12?
Yeah, we went.
The zone. What's the difference?
You know, it's hard work. It's hard to play zone man to man. Man to man, you sometimes you're away from the ball. You rest a little bit. You want to pick up some plays. One guy rests his own breaks. You have to decide in it all the time. And they have
I'll see you around 10:30.
You have to really work hard.
Is that?
Ball for 35 seconds. It's a man to man. No man to man team holds the ball 35 seconds unless you're playing first. So they all play quicker than that. So it's hard. It's a hard defense to play. You got to work hard for a long time. And then after you do all that work, chasing all that around, you got to go back and get a rebound. So it's a difficult defense. We worked on it. We worked hard on it. We adapted it over the years. It's much different now than it was. Nobody really plays good zone. Some teams play zone, but they don't play zone. They play zone. They did it in Marquette. We were off our rhythm. Today they play zone. The first 3 possessions they scored. 3 for 3. We're really pretty good against the zone. We got where we bring back the shots.
You downplayed the coaching aspect of it. There's only 4 coaches in the 4 Final Fours over 4 decades. Krzyzewski, Dean, Pitino, and some guy named Boeheim. No, that's because you're pretty good.
A lot of good coaches, and they just don't coach that far. I've been lucky to coach for a long time. It's good players. There's really there are not any
You're giving them 29% field goal percentage in the tournament, 15 being on the arc. Was there something that triggered that even before the tournament? You said, you know what, we're about ready to go on a goodbye.
No, I didn't. No, you don't pick those numbers. I mean, our numbers for the year are 38 from the field,
You get magnified.
They're hard to believe numbers.
That's a good thing because you're going to Atlanta.
We're happy. It'll be a great challenge, but it's okay.
Keep the vibe going, right?
Hopefully keep playing well.
We get annoyed by how we built on our age thing. That's not something we do. But do you get more of people complaining of retirement?
No, not really. I don't get annoyed. I mean, I am getting close to retirement. There's no question. Every once in a while I say that. I don't really mean anything by it, but then they immediately think he means something by that.
Well, it's just a fact.
Everybody's trying to get a story before it's a story. You know, I mean, the fact that I say, you know, I thought about retirement. I'm getting tired sometimes of this. I said that exact same thing 10 years ago. Exactly, word for word. And, you know, now you get at this stage, they start, you know, jumping at that thing. And, you know, I could retire. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm constantly, thoughts go through your mind when you, I don't care who you are. If you're 68 years old and you've been doing something for 37 years, you probably do think a little bit about when it's the time to get out. It just hasn't been the time yet. For me, that doesn't mean that it couldn't be. I mean, winning, losing, none of that matters. It just it depends on when is the right time. And the one thing I've always wanted to be careful about is not to get out when you don't want to, when you still really want to coach. I don't want to get out and then say, I wish I didn't get out. You know, I know that's happened to some people. And let's face it, when you're doing something that you really, you know, like to do, enjoy doing, there's no reason to get out if you don't feel like you should. If I felt like I should, and some days you feel like that. I tell coaches all the time. I've talked to coaches about this. There's a lot of days, even when you win, you just don't feel like it. But it's never been an overwhelming desire.
The idea of being counted, that seems to be to some sense like it'd be discouraging.
Yeah.
It seems like to you it's like, wow, that's kind of
you've got a good take on it. It could be. It's like us going to California. Taking us to go to California the way it started. We made it into the positive. We went out early. We got adjusted. Had some good practices. Made it a positive thing, and it turned out good for us, obviously. And going out to the channel. I mean, what I always say is like, it's not one game. You don't have to win every game. So you go down there, and if you play well, maybe you can win. But if you don't, it's one game, and nobody wins there anyway. So those games are actually probably easier games because when Syracuse goes to play, we're supposed to win every place we go. But somebody will, and a few fans will think we're supposed to win there too every time. But you don't have to win that game. And so it's only one game a year. But it's a challenge. We're playing a lot of teams that are going down there that we're used to, playing from the Big East. So it'll be interesting. It's like I've said a million times. If the Big East was just the way it was, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have wanted to go, and I would have fought it. But the Big East isn't. It's not even remotely like what it was. So this is all in one area, the East Coast. Most of the trips are short. Most of them we charter now anyway. Everything's an hour and a half. Except for, and we had a long trip to the Big East to Florida, so it's really actually less travel for us than way less than the league's going to be.
Jim, how long does the last Final Four feel?
It seems like a long time ago. It really does seem. It was a long time ago, 10 years ago. I was disappointed the last 3 years. I thought we had a Final Four team 2 of the 3 years. Got an injury. Lost a guy. We still almost made the Final Four. But it's this team. Really, if you discount the last part of the year, if you look at this team over the first 20-some games, it was a team that could get to the Final Four. I think people thought that. I thought that. We had some weaknesses. Maybe we had to go through those hard times. Maybe that helped us. I don't know. Maybe that kind of got us to where we got to play a little better defense. We got to work a little harder on defense. We got to execute a little better on offense. Maybe. I think losing James, even though we played well without him, and then getting him back, that's a disruption. And then we got going again. Maybe we needed more time together. So I'm not sure, that. But we really, I cannot believe how good our defense has been in this tournament. I mean, I know my team's not great, but they know we kept everybody. They know to score 20 points. Nobody's that good. Cal's a good offensive team. Their guards, Travers were most outstanding player in the league. In fact, he was lucky to get 5 points at the end of the game to get to 8. And Indiana is the best offensive team in the country. And they scored 50 points. So, and Marquette scored 74 against us. So defense is really why we're going. No question about it. I was a little surprised when Kenny Smith said today we could win the same games the same way playing man-to-man. He hadn't seen us practice. I'm not sure why they have NBA guys making commentary. I've never been quite sure of that.
Gonzaga wins, 30 games, looks great, number 1 seed. Indiana wins the Big Ten. How fair is it that everything gets judged so much by March?
Miami won the ACC, both. It's just the way it is. Tom Crean did a great job. He went and he said here the other night, we had a great year, and we go home. He don't believe that. They left at 2 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't. That was a night move. It was a Bobby Knight move. But no, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. Marquette. I have to tell you, I would have picked them 7th or 8th worse in our league. They lost 2 great players. They don't have shooters. They really don't. I don't know how they made shots before this. I didn't see their games. I just can't imagine that Vandy Blue made 8 threes out of 10. I mean, did people see that? Did that really happen? They can't. It can't happen because I'll leave them out there right now with their shots. They can't make shots. But Buzz has done an unbelievable job to get that. Unbelievable. And the game is so. I mean, Davidson hit him beat. So the ball they went. They're home. Just get the guy caught the ball. Just hold on to it. You foul you with 5 seconds to go. You're an 85% shooter. Even if you miss, they got to go length and court. Oh yeah, length, not half. You can't do it. So it's just the way it is. I said this years ago. I came to this realization, and I've been saying it for years, that if you're not so good to get in the tournament's okay. But you got to really, in today's world, you really got to be not good at all. Because after what Butler did, George Mason did, and VCU did, now all these presidents and the athletic directors think they're going to hire Shaka Smart, which they're not, or Brandon Stevens, which they're not. And then they fire people, and they think they're going to, and then, we can't get him? Oh, really? Well, you didn't have a clue, did you? But because of what those schools did, they all think their schools should be going to Final Four. Well, let me tell you something. It's hard to go to the Final Four, and those schools are never going to play. I mean, when was the last time Minnesota went to the Final Four?
98.
Well, that's pretty good.
99.
That's pretty good. But when was the last time, like, New Mexico went, or, whoever? Never. They never go, Some teams don't go to the conference tournament finals, but their presidents now think they can go to the NCAA final. I mean, it just doesn't happen. It's just hard. And there's equity, and you can break through. But when Butler broke through the first time, they beat us, and they played well. We lost our center, but they beat us. We don't have a guy in our team that plays in the NBA today. Gordon Hayward's averaging 15 points a game. And the other kid, the guard's back in the NBA now, and the center was really good.
He's making money overseas.
Yeah, I mean, people forget that. I mean, they had pretty good players. And he's a great coach. But, you've got to, you can get through. You can break through. You can break through. It's 4 games. It sounds, I mean, it's hard, but it's not impossible to win 4 games. You can do it, and maybe not really be that be a great team, but it's just the curse of college basketball. It is all about, like I said that about those teams, but for every other school that's any good, it used to be people thought, well, the top 6, 8 teams can go. Now they think 30 teams can go to Final Four, maybe 40. And they maybe think still like 20 can win. It just is hard to do that. I don't think you can do that. It's unrealistic, but it's just the way it is. It's the way the world is right now. It's NCAA tournament. What you doing? That's what counts. I'm sure, people are saying, well, they haven't been to the Final Four. My good friend Gino texted me and said, you finally got back there? Just because it's automatic for him to go every year. He texted me when I got in the Hall of Fame. He says, it's about time. You need friends like that. Keep you. I just texted him right back. Well, can't you beat Muffin? He didn't like that.
So we had a conversation in 1996, and you were saying that zone doesn't negate talent; it makes talent do different things. What's the 2013 version?
Well, one of the things about zone is you can't dictate who's going to score. You can't. I can dictate who's going to shoot for you. Man to man, you can't do that. Play man to man, you can get whoever you want can get a shot. You can get that guy shots. If you want 2 guys to shoot, 2 guys can shoot the whole game. You can't do that against the zone. You got to get the shots you can get. And we're not going to give you some of those shots. Once in a while we get caught in it. The guy gets like Porter had a big game against us, but the other games against us he had 10. Last year. So
it's a fouling thing. Yes,
it's unusual. That's one of the things about playing zone. We can dictate who's going to shoot. And we can be aggressive because we can protect guys in foul situations. We can't isolate a guy and go one-on-one and get him in foul trouble. We can protect that. So there's some advantages to playing zone. And people think we're long. We're not any longer than anybody. That's a myth. We are not long. James Sutherland's 6'7", C.J. Fair's 6'7". And we do have a longer guard. One who is longer, but we usually have two 6'3" guards. Scoop was 6'3", and Brandon was 6'3" last year. So I mean, we're not long. I mean, they say that all the time, but look at any of these teams. You know, they've got long guys too. I mean, you know, it's our defense. It's not the length. It's that we play it, we work at it, and we spend a lot of time trying to get it better. And, you know, but it's what we do. I mean, what we do well, and that's why we do it well. Whatever you work on, that's what you're going to be good at. If you're a man-to-man team, or a fast break team, or a half-court team, you work on that the most, that's what's going to be good. We work on the zone, that's what's good for us. It's been good for us.
If, as you say, no one in college is playing it well, the NBA is obviously not dedicated to it. Do you know if anyone in the world on the international level, is anyone really?
You can't play internationally. You got too many shooters. We don't play. I've coached internationally myself as a head coach. Never played in zone. And won a couple of gold medals. And with the Olympic team, we played about 5 minutes a zone because there's too many shooters. And it's hard to learn zone. Man, they know how to play. You can work on it in short periods of time. And it can be successful. Zone is complicated. It really. And the reason people don't have good zones, you ask any coach or Buzz how much time he spends on man-to-man defense, he's going to tell you 95%.
Right.
5% on our zone. Well, if you spend 5% of your time on something, you're not going to be very good.
You have to dedicate yourself.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. And man-to-man coaches aren't going to do that because they don't want to take away. Because you do take away. The more time you spend on your zone, the more time you take away from your man-to-man. It's hard to strike that balance. It's very hard.
All right.